have Jason Lee with us. He was gracious enough to do an interview with me. So thank you for being here today.
Oh, I'm happy to do this. Thank you.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
What to say? So I'm a filmmaker. I've been sort of doing this ever since I was a kid practically. I can still remember when I was 8 years old. I would be flying my Lego spaceships around, but I always had one eye closed because I thought it looked better. So I think I've been filmmaking even though I didn't have a camera since I was a little kid. And so anyway, so then, I went to film school, I did all that kind of stuff, and I started my own business doing mostly corporate videos, like training videos and videos that are used for rallies or training videos, that kind of stuff. Often very boring. But then I do short films whenever I can, and I've done a couple of short films. And one day I had this idea about a story about a teenage girl and a single dad, and he's coming out of the closet to him. And I just thought it was such a good idea, and I saw a lot of opportunity for sort of cute hijinks and that, because back then, if it came out to me, I think I'd be overly protective and want to hurt everybody I could, that I would kind of be more annoying than helpful. So I thought, well, that's funny. I think I want to tell that story. So I started making a web series. So here we are with, I guess, 15 hours later, 16 as of next week, with that.
That was actually going to be my next idea. So was there any, or my question for you, was there any specific inspiration for the story, or was it just something that popped up into your head?
It was a couple of things. I had this dream. It was actually a terrible dream, as a matter of fact, where one night my wife was pregnant. She wasn't pregnant, but in my dream she was, and she gave birth to our first daughter during childbirth, and it was a horrible nightmare. And I remember waking up, and it was so real, And in this dream, I remember going to her funeral, and I remember going to the baby's christening, and the baby's name was Rose, right? Natalie, my wife, and we always thought we named our first child Rose, it was a girl. And so it was a horrendous dream. And but the next day, when I got over the dream, I realized it wasn't real. My wife is okay. Then the next day, I was kind of mourning Rose because all of a sudden she wasn't ill anymore. She was gone, and I'd actually fallen in love with her that night. So while I was just sitting on the subway, I was going to a corporate video shoot, and so I was sitting on the subway with all my gear, and I was just thinking about Rose and thinking all the things that I won't be doing with her because she's not real anymore. And stuff that would be sort of awkward for a dad. Like I was imagining when her first period happened, I'd be like, oh, I don't know how to deal with that. That's some territory. But so I'm kind of thinking of funny that. And I think there was an ad on the subway from the Ontario Public Health about teen issues, and one of the things that they mentioned, like pregnancy, teen health, and then they mentioned that they had it was a bunch of computer mouse, and there's a mouse, and then there's the rainbow mouse, the gay mouse. And I was just, what if my kid came out to me? And I was just like, I'd be so cool with that. I would make sure she knows that I'm cool with that, And I started thinking about all these things that, because I never had to come out. So I started thinking about all the things that she might have to go through that he never did. And then I had this idea about, what if, say she wanted to bring her girlfriend to prom, and that wouldn't be allowed. And I'd be like, oh, I'd fight for her. I would call the press. I'd call the media. I'd call lawyers. Things to think about, And but then it hit me, what if she's shy and would rather I just drop it and she does not go to the point? What if she prefer that? That would kill me if that was true. But what if that was her take? And that kind of moment happened. Oh, that's actually kind of funny. And I was like, that's a story. I should tell that story. So I started writing, and then I actually dropped the prom idea because I thought, that'll never happen again. And then 2 weeks later, of course, I don't know if you remember in the news, what's her name? Constance Millen, was that her name? That happened 2 weeks later after that. I'm like, so maybe the story isn't out of date after all. So
you would hope it would never happen, but
and I naively thought, never again will it happen. And because a similar thing happened in Ontario about 10 years ago. A boy wanted to bring his boyfriend, and actually did go to trial, and in the end, it actually changed a lot of things in the public school system here for the better. But it happened again south of the border. I was like, it's still happening. So anyway, and in a way, like, after starting my research, I realized that there's a lot of information out there. There's also a decent amount of info for teens that might be coming out, but there is very, very little information there for parents of kids. And the stuff that is out there is just like all the scary stuff that Nathan found in the very second episode. So when I saw that was like, okay, no, I have to tell the story. Like, this is a story that I can't just come up and come back to one day. Like, none of it has to be done like now. So that's how that came to be, really.
It all started as a dream.
Yeah, it's a dream less. It's the best thing that's ever happened in my life.
It's crazy because I've had dreams where I was like, this would be cool. And of course, I didn't quite take it the next step and actually write it, but there have been times like that.
Yeah.
For me, so.
I would encourage anyone that gets that inspiration to just do it, because I do a lot of talks and panels and stuff like that, and I know one of the most common questions I get asked by the audience is in the Q&A. They often ask, what's the biggest hurdle that might keep a filmmaker hold a filmmaker back from not making a series? And my answer is always, well, the filmmaker themselves. Like, they have to, because the technology is there for almost anyone, and not even very expensive. Like, almost every computer comes with a free editing software, even if it's crappy. Like, tools are there to make stuff these days. I mean, there's even like a cell phone can shoot relatively video.
Yeah, like a cell phone got a megapixel camera.
Yeah. Well, this is a 3D camera. I've actually shot 3 episodes of 3D. They'll come out in a couple months, and in 3D. So how crazy is that?
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So, what is the most rewarding part of doing the show?
I think it's actually the thing I didn't anticipate when I started. I think it's the connection with the audience. When you look at a corporate video or a short film, whatever it is, and I'm just saying is do a feature film or a TV show, you put it up there and that's the end of it. But when you're making a web series, especially a web series like this that's really having a big effect on people, you hear back from the audience. They connect with you and they want to talk to you. And like, here we are having this conversation, and I don't know if that would be happening if it was like a different story or a different medium, And I think that's been my favorite thing. It's been really rewarding hearing the stories that the audience shares with us about how their coming out might have been, or how or how their kids are better now because of this or that. Sometimes it's feedback like, "Gosh, I wish the show the kids stuff like that." Right? You hear feedback so gratifying. It is a lot of work to do, but it kind of makes it all seem worthwhile when you kind of back.
That has been kind of the general consensus. I mean, even Dana said that in our interview about the just the connection that has been formed with fans from them, and I connected with them, and so.
No, it's totally true, and I don't. I think my cast would say like none of us expected that going in. Like we all thought we were going to make something cool, and hopefully people watch it, and that's kind of like where your expectations are. But then all these other things came with it that none of us ever anticipated. It's so rewarding. I have to admit, it feels great.
So now we talked through what's probably the biggest challenge or hurdle that you have to go over in creating a web series.
Well, there's a couple. I mean, funny enough, the challenging thing actually is keeping up with the audience, because I think that that's important. And I mean, like I said, it is rewarding. So you want to maintain that relationship, keep it up with the audience. And so, so I run like the Dad feed, for instance, and I'm the one that does all the posts on the Dad Facebook page, build the website, answer all the questions on YouTube, and so like I'm doing all of that. And man, that's a lot of work. But at the same time, I couldn't not do it because it's like, I have to. So it's a challenge, and so one of the things I'm still learning is my time management skills. It's like I kind of have to learn to just, not do that at certain times and focus on things that need doing, like, I've got what I'm doing right now, but they have to take priority over other Dad, because those actually pay the bills, whereas with Dad doesn't, right? So yeah, I have to be responsible that way and worry about those things. And that's why we did the hiatus, because I got two really big quote gigs that I knew were going to take a lot. The most painful thing to ever decide to do was to go on that hiatus, because I didn't want to, but I had to,
I don't know, that just makes it all the more exciting to see the episode getting them, so maybe as long as you could,
that part
as long as you kept, I think you kept your audience engaged. I think, I don't know that you've lost anyone at that time.
No, I don't feel like that either. I mean, even when you're looking at like the data that because YouTube and there's Google Analytics, like you can track what's going on, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And even though we were on hiatus, the never went. They actually continued to keep going up, which was very exciting. In fact, even in December, they were really, and so during December, like there were 500,000 people, there were 500,000 views in that month of August. So around 100 or 500,000 views a month, which is pretty crazy. And while we weren't doing anything, and now we've got episodes, it's accelerated again, right?
Well, I noticed that there was a period of time before I started this, the new blog that I had on, and I lived dormant for weeks. I was thinking, like, how does how does that work out?
Well, I think if you put out something that just people, it will serve itself in a way. But it's also when people come to your blog, they leave comments and kind of keep up that relationship sort of thing.
I do too, with my YouTube and blog. I actually haven't only gotten one comment besides the one I posted on my blog, which I'm trying to figure out why, but that it is what it is, I guess. Let's talk more about the show specifically. Give a brief summary for someone who may not see the show Out with Dad. I mean, you kind of did when you were talking about your inspiration for the show, but...
Right. Well, I mean, like, it's, how do I say something? Like, it's about a girl coming out to her dad. It's called Dad. For a chunk of it, she's been out. Nobody sees the mom if the title fits through. But, and so, a bunch of characters. Rose, sort of Rose, Dad, and Nathan are the central characters, and then Rose got her friend Kenny, and Nathan has his friend John. And then of course, they're really good chums with each of them, and then Rose also has Vanessa, who has been her like bestest friend since like they were like grade 2 practically. And but Rose has come to realize that she's totally in love with her best friend. Like it goes beyond just that platonic love, right? And that kind of freaks her out. And when she finally opens up about that to Vanessa, it really freaks out Vanessa. That doesn't really fall in line with how she was raised. And so Vanessa's been an interesting character to write. She's got a lot of conflict to deal with.
So I want to ask you what your favorite episode or scene were, but since you're not in the mood to spoil anything for, I don't know if you want to answer that question.
I mean, like, I think, I guess we'll agree, anyone that hasn't seen the show, stop this video now, watch the show, and then come back, right? We'll make that agreement?
Yes.
All right. So, we're spoiler zone now. But I think some of my favorite scenes are actually very small ones. Like, in Season 1, my favorite scene was, it's the episode with Had. It's our shortest episode, and it's just a bit where Nathan makes tea for Rose, and just have a little bit of a chat where he kind of finally, let go. He's been trying to pass her for what's going on, and he realizes maybe I'm putting too much pressure on, and so he just, needs to sort of let go. And I've always loved that scene, and it's a very sparse episode, and we shot that in just one evening. It was really quick, actually. And in the second season, favorite episode, again, it's very simple, just talking. It's Vanessa chatting with her brother on the steps. That was the 4th episode of season 2. We when we filmed that, we all got emotional. I can remember here when we were filming. As soon as I yelled cut, he had to like go wipe his eyes because he was crying from Lindsay's performance. She was so good at that. Then I also love all like the funny scenes too, like the movie theater scene and even the we're spoiler free here, so I'll say the coming out to Dad. That was the first scene I think I ever wrote actually, and so it's kind of nice to finally show that scene when it was like the first thing I wrote, like long before I wrote season 1, and it first come out as like sweet and touching, yet still funny, still serious. It was a good mix of emotions, and that was a good feeling. That was actually the scene Will auditioned with, actually.
I liked all of the ones that you brought up. I also liked the scene. I think it was when Rose left Vanessa on the bus, and it was just the musical.
That's my wife's scene on the subway. Yeah.
And I also
that was a really tough. Sorry.
I like the party scene, whatever. It was from season 1, I think.
Yeah.
The whole that whole episode.
That was that day that we filmed. It was the hottest day of the year, and I actually looked it up. Like it's on record, it's the hottest day of that year in Toronto, and we were filming it in my aunt's basement, which is like this old house with no air conditioning, and yet her neighbors all have air conditioning. We had to shut every window to keep the noise out. We had to cover the windows to make it look like nighttime, and we filled the room with like all those pictures. So like it got so hot in there. It was crazy and so hot. And I remember, we were all getting dehydrated. And still me, I never drank any water that day. I was too focused on filming that I forgot to drink. And this morning I woke up, I swear I thought I had a hangover even though I didn't drink. It was terrible.
I've done that
but so much fun.
Where I was forgot water and
yeah. why do us creative people do that?
I do that now. I skip lunch all the time working on some project or other or something. I got my lunch in today.
Good.
So what is it? Maybe you're not the right person to ask this. What is a typical day on set like? I guess maybe you can give me the crew point of view.
Sure. I mean, how do you describe it? The can be quite, like, depending on the kind of scene. Like, for instance, the with Dad episode, that was a really small crew. I think it was just me, Eric, our producer, and he was running the sound as well, and Kate and Will. It was just the four of us that shot that. So it was really, really, really simple scene. And that's another reason I like those simple scenes, because it's a small crew, really intimate. But then on bigger days, like the coming out scene, for instance, we all move in, we set up the lighting and the gear, and with that one we had to set up scenes as well, and because all the visual. And it's quite a big crew day. I remember Josh was operating one of the cameras. I forget who was running sound that day. Aaron is always there. He's our producer. He helps making sure that everything that needs to be there is there. Dania is first AD, and she runs the she kind of runs the crew, and me, she's almost like my boss on set, because she really makes sure that we're keeping on schedule, we're keeping on time, and getting the shots that I said I needed. So she's keeping a track of all that. So, but the most important thing to me is I gotta make sure that we're all having a good time, because up to this point anyway, we've all been volunteering our time. So I mean, this would be, even if we were getting paid, it would still be important that we have a good time. But if we're not having a good time making it, then what's the point, right? So keep it fun, and even the scene where Kate has violence, you want to keep that's an interesting balance, because you got to kind of keep her away from all the laughter and the fun and everything, because she needs that sort of space to do her thing. But then you don't want her to be miserable either, right? So and so it's but overall, at the end of the day, we always walk away having had a good time. We're often very tired, and we're always hungry to do more. We're really want to shoot. That's my favorite part. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, it answered my question. I'm saying we're going to backtrack a little bit, because tips for someone who either wants to do short films or web series, or wisdom can impart from having done both films and with web series.
I think that actually, I think that the number one tip is probably the one I just gave. Make sure you're having a good time, and I mean, and I don't know if you've seen the video that we put out, the call to action for our fundraiser, where we jokes about the catering. But all joking aside, that action is very important. We need to make sure, and this is really important for filmmakers, is make sure that everyone's well fed. And the reason for that is, like, especially if everyone's working for free, everyone's a lot happier and it keeps energy up. I know I get when I'm hungry, and we all kind of do a bit, right? So, that's a really important, is really put my emphasis on the right mood of the set, and pulling together the right people helps with that. For instance, when I was casting and Kate came in for her audition, and as soon as she did her first read as Rose, it's like, oh, that's it, she's Rose. Just knew she was Rose. All the girls that came in also read as Vanessa too, just to see if they were better Vanessa than Rose. We could tell, but she was Rose, and she left the room. We were all of us in the room. We're like, oh my god, we just met Rose. Oh my god, it's so exciting. But I didn't know her yet. I only knew what she was capable of as an actor. So I could tell she's a good actor, but is she a good person? Do I like her? Is she friendly? So instead of doing a callback, we actually just got to get coffee and we just kind of hung out for a while. And because I put a lot of emphasis on finding the right people, like I said, and so right away we just hit it off, and we had similar interests, and she's really really funny. And I can remember actually she made a joke about so funny, I'm a real diva on set. Watch out for me. I don't know real divas actually say that, and so I pretty much gave her part as soon as she said that, and everyone, yeah, like everyone that's on the crew, like we all like each other. Like, we really feel like a family. I think that if you want to tips for aspiring filmmakers, finding the right people and making sure everyone's in a good mood. I think that's the one. In terms of like equipment, tech, that kind of stuff, there's so many tools available these days that that part's almost easy. That part's almost the easy part, right? Is getting what you need. And I write about that stuff. Like if you go to with Dad.com's I write a lot about the making of stuff, and so you can learn a lot about the things we've done, like the cameras we use or how we light things or whatever. So yeah. So there you go. Those are my tips.
So I don't know if you're down for this. I read my so you saw the question. This or that.
The fun one. Yeah. All right.
So I have the list of questions I asked Dana. So
okay.
Coke or Pepsi guy?
Oh, Coke. I'll actually turn Pepsi away.
Cat or dog? I really think I know this question.
Yeah.
I would guess cats just because you have
right next to me.
Summer or winter?
Summer for sure.
Hugs or kisses?
Hugs.
Fame or fortune?
Oh, you can have with no problem.
Which is worse, speaking in front of a crowd or writing a paper?
Well, for me, worse is writing. I'm very intimidated by writing. I love the crowd.
If you could time travel, you travel to the past or the future?
Oh.
I think that one.
It's a tough one because I would love to see the future, but there's so many interesting things about the past. You know what? Now, I kind of worry about knowing too much about the future, so I'm gonna opt for past.
Would you read a celebrity magazine or the newspaper?
Oh, newspaper.
Kind of with you. Usually the celebrity magazine is just nothing but anyway.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Favorite food?
You know what? A roast turkey dinner. That's my favorite thing.
So what I consider Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah. I consider a Thanksgiving dinner, a birthday dinner, and a Christmas dinner. We kind of have them all. My birthday is right in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Turkey makes me very happy.
Favorite book?
You know what? No, wait. I really liked a Robert J. Soros book, Calculating God. It's a science fiction novel that actually takes place here in Toronto, and about aliens that land here, and it's a very interesting read.
I'll have to pick it up. And then the last one is favorite color.
I'm a blue.
Yeah, me too. I'm
Nice.
They're good colors. So unless you have anything else to say, I don't have any more questions necessarily. Do you want to give people the...
Well, thank you. Today, I got in my email notification from you. Thank you very much. That's amazing. We're, as you know, we're trying to save up to get funds to do our third season, right?
Right.
And it's well, and we have enough to get a couple of episodes shot, not edited. So we're still trying to figure out exactly what costs are what we need. We're still calculating that. But anyway, I wanted to say thank you, and to anyone that likes the show and would like to see it continue, if you could consider donate. So Fancy set up a site at withad.com/contribute, and whatever you can do, or at least share that link to people. If your viewers can't donate money, they can maybe share the idea of donating it. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, bro.
You're welcome. I probably should have done it a little sooner, but sometimes life has to be precedent over paying the school bill was more important.
Yeah. No, and so should be, right? Yeah.
That way I'll, be able to afford to create my own material in the future. That's the goal.
Yeah. Well, I would like to see that. That's for sure.